I couldn't believe that I didn't know about this case that changed our judicial system in the UK. And it was a shocking case at the time. There was mass outcry. And so the fact that it's been neglected from the kind of mainstream history lessons, I think, is pretty shocking, although not completely surprising considering how many women's stories have been neglected from the history books. So I tried to read as extensively as I possibly could to understand the way that she'd been perceived at the time as well, because it had been really widely covered in the media internationally as well at the time. But the way that she was depicted was so skewed by the classism and misogyny of the era. And she didn't have a voice of her own or like a kind of access channel to the public. So there was no, and I think that she had no instinct to want to clarify. She kind of kept that apart from her own identity and how she saw herself. So it was a really interesting research process. And I think very much anchored by Carol Ann Lee's book, A Fine Day for a Hanging, which is what this is predominantly based on. And I can't recommend it enough to anyone interested in British history, women's history. It's so well researched. And as you said, kind of so relevant to so much of today. I think we want to feel like we have so many of those issues safely left behind in the 50s, and that's just not the case at all. And so it was, a kind of a real education as a history lesson, but also just, again, to reflect on how much we still need to improve upon today.